Do you want to become psychic AF? Okay, the truth is, I know that you do. But I also want you to know, though, that just because you become a psychic or a psychic medium doesn't mean that you have to now start, doing readings for people all over the world, or you have to start doing tarot and oracle card readings. You don't have to do any of that. In fact, that is a very small percentage of how I use my psychic abilities on a day to day basis. So today, I want to share with you 10 ways that opening up to your psychic senses is going to help change your life. And not only will I give you those 10 ways, but I'm also going to be giving you an exercise to do that will not take any extra time or money and that will help you with your psychic connection all throughout your day. Now, I hope that you have already signed up for the Psychic AF scavenger hunt because I'm telling you that it is freaking amazing. Like, it is crazy. And I'm just telling you, I'm giving away some really cool prizes and some that are not really prizes. It's like everybody gets one for free. And so I'm not going to tell you what it is because I'm really excited about it and I really want to surprise you with it. So you definitely have to sign up. So just really quick, the Psychic AF scavenger hunt is from September 9th to the 13th. It's going to be hosted on Zoom. I hope you can join me. But if not, it's also going to be streamed into the Rise into Your Power group. And I am going to be walking you through raising your vibration up, protecting your energy, all sorts of really cool things so that you can open up to your psychic abilities. If you're already psychic, we're going to up you a level. We are going to get you in touch with your spirit guide. So you definitely don't want to miss this. It's completely free and so much fun. The link is in the show notes. But if you have any issues at all with it, then just reach out to me at heatherdaniellemedium@gmail.com. All right. So let's get to the 10 ways. So the very first way that learning about your psychic connection is going to help you throughout your day is going to be improved decision making. So now just think about that. Just think about every single day being able to be confident in your decisions that you are making, not having this self doubt or wondering if you're making the right choice. Like, is it meant to be? Is it not meant to be? Oh my God, I cannot tell you how many wrong choices that I made before I spiritually woke up. And now, even if I do make a wrong choice, to me, it doesn't really feel like it's even wrong. It kind of feels like, oh, well, that was a learning experience. Well, wasn't that kind of fun? Now, you can do improved decision making on all different parts of your life in little baby ways as well, like what route to take to work, where your parking spots are. That's a big, ginormous one for me because if you do the little ones, that's going to really help you with your decision making for the bigger ones. So, a couple of things that are coming to mind with the decision making was my husband and I were going to go take a trip to like Indiana to see some friends, right? And he's like, yeah, he's like, I really think that we should leave on Thursday. Well, I didn't have a good feeling about Thursday. I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't think that we should leave on Thursday. I'm like, I think I said not till Saturday. He's like, well, we could go on Friday. And I'm like, no, I really feel like we should leave on Saturday morning. And he was just like not really with it. He did not like it at all. And then finally I told him, I was like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but I am getting the connection that we really need to leave on Saturday and not on Friday. Well, now he's been married to me long enough as I have woken up spiritually. He trusts my decisions. And I said it with such vengeance. I was like, hey, I don't know what's going to happen. It could be something that on the way there, something happens, or they're going to call it off, or something like those along those lines. Well, what ended up happening was we ended up leaving on Saturday. We got there on Saturday afternoon before everybody else. Everybody was supposed to be there on Friday. Nobody showed up on Friday, including us, right? But nobody did. And I'll be honest with you, apparently, like it was so boring, like all of Saturday. And, we finally had some fun when everybody started showing up like Saturday night. And I just was so thankful. And so was my husband. We're like, thank God we didn't leave any earlier because number one too was also like putting the hosts out as well. But the second thing is that we were bored AF and we didn't want to be bored. There was nothing to do in this little horse town. So little things like that can go a freaking long way. So your improved decision making can be for the big things as well, like This is a huge one, and that is, like, when you're buying a house and then it's like, "Ooh, do we take this offer? Do we not?" Especially if you're selling your house as well. This is one that I get asked a lot when I do readings, and so far, as far as I know, I have been really accurate on it, and I've hit the nail on the head every single time, and I'm like, "Nope, they're lowballing you," or, "Nope, you definitely need to take this because of X, Y, and Z." And now also inside of the academy, some people are learning that they have that ability as well, to where it's like they can really tune into that decision and be like, hey, should we accept this offer or not? And this can go across the board. I don't know why, but I'm also picking up medical decisions as well. So, what kind of doctor that you should go to? That's another one that I really get a lot in readings as well, is like, okay, which doctor should I go with for the surgery, or should I go with this doctor? And so, if you are able to learn how to do it yourself, that's going to go a long way, man. So then you don't have to like get a psychic, you don't have to ask them, you don't have to pull out, all of your friends' phone numbers and just try to get the group consensus. All right. So here is a little trick, and you may or may not have heard of this little trick that will help you with your improved decision making process as a psychic connection. It's very, very important that you get your yes and your no. And you are going to treat yourself almost as if you are a human pendulum. And so you're just going to take a deep breath. And then you are going to ask your body to show you a yes. Most oftentimes, people will realize that they are moving forward. You might get a yes where you feel a little bit lighter. You might get a yes where all of a sudden it brings up a beautiful memory. You also might get a yes. It could be like all of a sudden you just get a flash of a yes inside of your mind. And so now, once you get that yes, I want you to ask yourself a question that you know the answer to. So, is my name Heather? I'm going to ask that question, and then I'm going to see if the yes comes up. Once you do that, then I want you to ask a question that you do not know the answer to. And then I want you to see if you still get a yes. We are also going to do this with a no. So, no. A lot of times people feel like they are getting pushed back with a no. Sometimes with a no, you might feel like you're getting pushed down. With a no, you might also just see it in your mind's eye. You might have like a little yucky feeling. You might get a bad feeling in your stomach. Those are often signs of no. So you have to get your yes and your no. And then when you ask yourself those questions, the one question where you do know the answer and the other one where you do not know the answer, that is calibrating your body to tell you this is a yes and this is the no. So practice that. It's okay if you get it wrong at first. Using your body as a vessel and like as a conduit can be a little bit tricky at first, especially if you're not used to really, paying attention and being mindful in your body. And then also, if you are eating things that are not really agreeing with your body, it can throw off your intuition a little bit. Or if you're not getting a lot of movement in, it can also just create some kind of stagnant energy, and it might not be easy for you to pick up on those cues. But I promise you, keep on practicing, you'll get it. All right, so moving on to number 2. Going ahead and tuning in and getting your psychic connection strong will also help you with enhanced communication. So, this means that you will be able to tell what someone is like thinking and what they know without them saying the words. Now, disclaimer, I bet you if you were listening to me, I will bet freaking money, man. I will like throw down on it that you are already doing this and you don't even know it. And honestly, that's another reason why that you and your man or you and your girl freaking fight, is because you are tuning into things that they're not even saying. And then you're like, well, no, well, you acted this way or you said this. And they're like, no, I never said that, because you are tuning into the energy. You're not even tuning in to their freaking words. And so, yeah, they might be thinking it, but they haven't said it yet. But you have this psychic connection. You don't even realize it. And you're actually tuning into whatever it is they're thinking. And that can cause problems too, because they know darn well that they didn't freaking say it. All right. So, You can go ahead and you can use this to your advantage. All right. So, first off, is that you are able to read between the lines. You're able to know what someone is feeling, even if they're closed down, even if they're shut down. If you are an empath, this is where you definitely need a shield first, so that you are not getting any kind of their energy distorting your connection. And what I mean by that is when you connect to somebody to maybe tune into how they're feeling, it's really important to first block off the energy, to cut the energy off, just so that you know what is you and what is them initially. And so, what you're going to do is a psychic exercise is that you are going to be talking to the person. It can be virtually, it could be on Zoom, it could be on the phone, it could be wherever, text messages, Facebook chat, it does not matter, in person. And I want you to visualize that you are cutting the cord and you are in your own little bubble and you are not connecting to their energy at all. I just want you to feel how it feels to be inside of your own little bubble. And then I want you to set the intention to connect to the person. Once you set the intention to connect, I want you to almost like visualize this cord going from you to them. And it opens up this energetic wave to where you can finally feel what they're feeling, or you can get insight. Now, we'll get more into this in the scavenger hunt, but I want you to pay attention to anything that comes up to you. The more that you practice this, the stronger it will get. You might get some sensations in your body. You might get some thoughts. You might get some memories. Now, what you can do to basically make sure that you're connecting correctly and accurately is go ahead and try to talk into the conversation about something that you picked up to see if you were right. So here's an example. I am talking with George, and me and George are, talking. I do my little bubble. I cut myself off from him, and I'm, feeling myself, and I know exactly how I feel. Yep, this is 100% how I feel this moment. And then I set the intention to cut to, I can connect to George, and I take that cord from me to him. And then I pay attention to any sensations come up. So all of a sudden, maybe my heart will hurt because maybe he has some heartburn, or maybe all of a suddenly, my leg starts cramping. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to work that into conversation. Maybe I pretend that I have heartburn, like, oh my gosh, my heart, oh, I got some heartburn. And then he was like, oh my God, so do I. That's so crazy. Or he says, oh, I don't have heartburn, but you know what? The doctor just told me that I had high cholesterol. And so it's really, really interesting, some of the fun things that you can do. So this can help you out in all of the relationships that you have, because it will allow you to understand people in your life a little bit better. So have fun with that one. And like I said, just keep on practicing. It might not be like everything that you think it's going to be when you first start off, because it might be a little bit subtle, but the more that you practice, that's what makes you like an amazing like psychic medium and stuff like that. That's how come I'm able to get information so quickly and so fast. And that is because I practice so much. I used to practice in the doctor's office when I was waiting for appointments. When I came home from work, I would just sit there and just practice, 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 practice. And so it's kind of like a muscle. The more that you practice it, the stronger that you will get. All right. So number 3 is you will so increase your creativity. Now, remember, creativity is super duper important. Look at Albert Einstein. He says that logic will get you from point A to point B, but creativity will take you anywhere. If you are able to tap into your creative side, then you are able to come up with like better solutions. You're able to come up with better ideas, better compromises with your family, your friends, and things like that. And I don't know why, but I just wanted to tell you this story just because it's so cute on how your creativity can like really just help out your life. Right. So my son was really, really young. I want to say that he was 4 or 5 years old, and he wasn't going to eat his food. It was like peas or something like that. And wait a second. Yeah, he wasn't going to eat his peas and things like that. So anyways, I think I let him go that day. I was like, okay, you don't have to eat it. But that night he was getting ready for bed and he was getting his pajamas on, and he came out of his bedroom and he just had on his regular clothes. He didn't go ahead and he didn't changing his pajamas. He just changed his clothes. And so I went to go say something to him and he stopped me. He's like, Mom, wait, 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 wait. He was like, I know these aren't my pajamas, but what if we just pretend that these are pajamas tonight? And I thought to myself, I'm like, well, if he really wants to sleep in those clothes and stuff like that, sure, why not? I will go ahead and I will pretend those are pajamas. So I was like, yeah, for sure, man, go ahead. Then the next night we were eating dinner together and there was some vegetables on his plate. And he's like, Mom, I really don't like these vegetables. Like, I really don't want to eat them. And I started thinking, and I'm like, well, man, what kind of vegetables, what kind of food do you like? And so he starts listing off all different kinds of not vegetables, definitely not vegetables, but all different kinds of foods that he likes, like chicken tenders, macaroni and cheese, all the kids' staple foods. And so I was like, oh, well, that's interesting too, because I feel that you could pretend that these vegetables is macaroni and cheese or some chicken tenders. And he looked at me, he's like, "What?" I'm like, "If I had to pretend that those were pajamas last night, then you can pretend that that is something that you like to eat." And I swear that little boy looked up at me and he was like, "Ooh, good one." He ate his whole entire plate clean because he knew that I got him. And I got him with creativity. So creativity can help you with your kids, with your spouses, like everything, all right? So increased creativity can help you with new ideas, new solutions. Like it can be so much fun if you're creative. Now, just a little disclaimer, the muscle that you use for your intuitive and your psychic connection is like the same as your creative muscle. And so, as your imagination muscle as well. So it's kind of like the same thing. So the more that you are creative, then the more stronger that your psychic connection is. If you think about it too, some of the most spiritual people and psychically connected people are going to be those people who are a creative AF. All right, so here is your exercise for your increased creativity, and that is do something creative. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to go ahead and you have to do, arts and crafts. It doesn't mean you have to start painting or drawing. If you love that, freaking do it. But it also just means to do something that's fun and creative, just like how the story I told you about me and my son. That was a creative thing. I was using my creative juices. Maybe it's going to be somewhere where you are doing like the clouds and you're looking at the different shapes of the clouds every day. Maybe that's something that you start with your family when you're going out for a walk. Maybe you just make up your own poetry or your own poems, your own little rap songs. I used to do that all of the time. And maybe if you have a really difficult time, tuning into your creative side, then go ahead and read some, fiction books and some fairy tale books or watch some of those movies to get those creative juices flowing. All right. So that is your exercise for increased creativity. All right. So let's move on to number 4, which is stress reduction. This is such a freaking huge one. Once you open up psychically and you are able to just really tune in, your stress will decrease so freaking much. Now, I really take that as a sign and a reason, if you will, because when I psychically connect, that tells me that there's something more than what meets the eye. That means that there is something to this energetic connection. Something is helping me tap into something outside of myself. And that is when you start developing this beautiful relationship with your spirit guides, with your spiritual team, with your past loved ones. And that in itself just helps reduce the stress of life. And especially because you start going down the spiritual path, you realize that life is meant to be fun and we make it way harder than it has to be. We are down here playing life as a game. We are in our own virtual Sims reality. We are so much like that, but we just get wrapped around the axle inside of our own heads. And what I believe that it is too is that many of us are still dreaming. And so when we say, oh, I had a spiritual awakening, it means that we woke up. We woke up from like the matrix, if you will, and we realized, oh my gosh, like life is meant to be fun and crazy. And this is our temporary home. And we are supposed to be living like a YOLO. And we are not here by ourselves. And we have a spiritual team that is with us at our beck and call, basically. And we need to tap into them. And there is way more to life than what meets the eye. So it can totally 1000% reduce your freaking stress. All right. And so before I give you the exercise, I just want to tell you this little quick story in case you didn't hear it. I am, at work. I'm actually like working from home at the moment, all right, at the time of this story. And I have so many meetings. I have so much to do. And all of a sudden, my son calls me up and he's like, "Hey, mom, I'm sorry, but I need you to come get me from school. We got off early, blah, 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 blah." Well, I start stressing out because I got this freaking big meeting that I'm supposed to be in. And so then I start like asking my husband, and I'm kind of frantic. I was like, he needs to be picked up from school. Can you help him out? And he was like, "No, he can freaking walk." And then I'm like, "Why do you want to make him walk? It's not his fault." And then we start freaking arguing. And I am like, "Oh my God, like this is horrible now." So now I got to get on a phone call with my boss and be like, "Hey, I'm so sorry, but I need to pick up my son. Like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to have to miss it out." He's like, "Well, hey, no, family is everything. So go ahead and do it. Go with your kid." And even though he said it was okay for me to miss this meeting, it was like I really freaking needed to be there. I was the expert at it. And I didn't want them making any freaking kind of decisions without me. So I'm like, this is just bonkers. Okay. So now I'm leaving the house, right? Stressed AF. Me and my husband are freaking fighting now. Now I kind of looked really bad for work. I did my, emergency freaking card for the freaking month or the year or whatever like that. So freaking stressed. I pull out of the driveway. I'm not even down the block. And I get a message from my son. And he's like, "Oh, mom, don't even worry about it. I got a ride." I can't even tell you what I was thinking in that moment. And I tell you what, I was not mad at my son. I was not mad at my husband. I was mad at myself. And that is because I didn't do what I'm about to tell you to do. The number one thing that you can do, and the number one exercise for reducing stress and improving your psychic connection, is going to be asking for spiritual help. Your spiritual team cannot intervene without your permission. So I should have, and I was kicking myself in the freaking butt. And that would have been like, "Spirit, can you please help me decide what it is I need to do?" And I know the number one thing that Spirit would told me to do, they would told me to chill, to freaking calm. And I know that if I would have chilled out and I would have calmed down, I would have just messaged my son like, "Hey, do you think you could hop a ride with one of your friends?" OMG, WTF, man. That was it. I needed to take literally 5 to 10 second pause and not freaking react. And I would have gotten that information from Spirit. But instead, now I got to go back home and I got to like probably apologize to my husband. And I got to do all this. And I feel really bad now because now we had a freaking disagreement and argument. And then I have to like, I don't think I ended up going to that meeting because I was like way too embarrassed because now I can go right back to the meeting. And then I had to tell my boss, like, "Oh no, it wasn't an emergency at all." Oh my gosh. And so you have to ask them for help. So if things are not flowing, so if things are challenges are coming up, if things aren't working out, if you're double booked, if you are stressed, like there's two things happening, then what you need to do is you need to stop and you need to say, "Spirit, please show me the way. Please show me, what I need to do. Please help me out in this situation." And then see what happens. All right. So take a moment. You might actually see that somebody cancels on you if you were double booked. You might also suddenly get a really good idea. Things will start happening and flowing. All right. It might come to you in a variety of different ways, but you have to freaking ask them for help. It will change your life. All right. So number 5 is better time management and also better time with making decisions. Okay. So this is basically giving you the ability to sense when it is the best time in order to do something. And this freaking story about how I was going to open up my own office. I was actually going to open my own store, and it was a cute little store. And oh my gosh, me and my husband, we were visiting the store, and we were basically trying to figure out like how much it would be to like repaint it and to get everything the way that we wanted it to be, and then where my reading room would be, and then where I would host my in-person development circles. And I had found the perfect place. I mean, it was so perfect because usually in this area you would need to also purchase, as in buy, not just a storefront, but also the apartment or condo, if you will, that was on the top floor. But they had an exception in this moment, and they had it to where I could just rent the bottom part. And I was like, this is freaking amazing. And they had a lifelong tenant that was on the top part, and it was just great. I went ahead and I put in my application, I paid the fees, I did all of these things. But as I was doing it, I was getting really bad feelings, getting really, really bad feelings, and I really wasn't sure what to do. So what I did was I was like, well, maybe this is not the right place. So I went ahead and I started looking around at different offices. And so I probably visited about 5 or 6 offices in my area, and every single one of them, like, one of them was really good. I really liked that one, and I was emailing and texting the landlord back and forth, and then finally, he was like, "Alright, it seems like we are set, I will send over the lease." And I just remember when he said that, I just got, like, this freaking pit in my stomach, and I was like, "I cannot do this." And I looked at my husband, and I was like, "I can't do this right now." And my husband's like, "Heather, you can, you should do it." And I'm like, I'm getting all these signs from spirit saying that I shouldn't do it. And I was like, I really can't. My husband was encouraging me though. He's like, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. And finally I'm like, I went to go like say yes. And I just couldn't do it. It was like such resistance. So finally, I just looked at my husband. I'm like, I can't. I cannot do it. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. I was like, but I just get this feeling that there's something on the horizon that we don't know about. I was like, and spirit is telling me no, and I can't do this right now. I was like, if it's meant to be, then I can revisit this in another like month or two. But I'm like, I can't get over this feeling that there's something that's going to happen that, we don't know about yet. I had this conversation with my husband. I believe it was like February 17th of 2020. It was 2 weeks later that the whole entire world, like, shut down because of COVID. Because of that, because of listening to myself and feeling that resistance and listening to spirit, I saved us $11,000 in just rent alone for that year. Isn't that insane? I just got chills. So, when you open up to your psychic connection, this can help you as well. You'll be able to sense the timing. Is it right? Is it not right? Another really cool story that happened recently was inside of the academy, we had a show and tell about, cards and stuff like that. And it was so great. But for some reason, I just kept on feeling like I kept on telling them, I'm like, hey, make sure that if something happens when you go to check out with these new card decks that you want to buy, I was like, and it's glitching and it won't let you buy it. I was like, take that as a sign that maybe it's going to be on sale or maybe you're going to find a deal elsewhere. No joke. I went ahead, I told them that, and the very next day, Hay House released that they were going to, here in a few days, a few days from then, they were going to do 50% off like their whole entire site. They were going to have like this most epic sale. And I was like, that is so funny that we were talking about that. And I was like, I remember just bringing it up like 3 or 4 times. So this is your exercise. Your exercise is to try to be a little bit more mindful to see if you feel that resistance. All right. So that's going to be the first thing, is that feel that resistance inside of your body. If you cannot feel anything inside of your body, then the second thing I want you to do is pay attention if there's any challenges. If there's any challenges where things are glitching, things are not going through, take that as your sign that is not the right time. And I know I say this a zillion times. So many people say it too. And they're like, oh no, but I have to make a decision. No, you don't. Very rarely in life are things like there's no extensions. Okay. So you need to understand that sometimes you could be wrapped around the axle because of how you are and because of what you want. Okay. So think about that, but I just want you to pay attention. When things are in the flow, that means that you are usually on the right path. When there's a lot of rockiness, when there's a lot of challenges and things aren't going right, and I mean not just in relationships and the big things and the monumental stuff that we think about, like with work, and it's always crazy and it's horrible and there's horrible people. But I'm also talking about those small little things, like when you're checking out on an Amazon cart and all of a sudden it's glitching. Let it freaking glitch. Come back to it the next morning because all of a sudden maybe now it's on sale, or maybe because you don't need it. All right. So let's move on to number 6, which is enhance relationships. Okay. And this is so freaking true. You can understand the people in your life a little bit better. You can read between the lines. Sometimes, I will get downloads about a person when I'm talking to them, or I might all of a sudden just get sensations and feelings when, like my husband is talking to me and stuff like that. And I'll be like, ooh, okay, we need to talk about this. Or sometimes what's really cool too is like a past loved one will start talking to me when I'm talking to my husband and those kinds of stuff. So it's super duper helpful if you are a parent. If you are a parent, I don't even care if your kid is old. Like, I don't even care if your kid is like my age. I don't care if you have an adult child, a younger child. This stuff can so help out a lot, okay? Because you stress out about your kids probably a lot. Like, you wonder if they're happy, wonder if they're healthy, if they're doing okay, especially if they are out of the house. So they might be out of the house, they might be at school, they might be at a friend's house, they might be working, they might be across the country because they moved, whatever it is. But what I love to do is I love to connect to my son just randomly. I don't do it as much anymore because I feel like it's an invasion of his privacy. But anytime that I'm worried about him or I'm stressed, I set the intention to connect with him no matter where he is in the world. And so I have done this, like I done it at Kohl's, at Kroger. I've done it sitting in my car and things like that. And I'm able to connect to him. Now, what's really cool is that one time I connected to him when he was still living at home, and he had just gotten his car, and I think that, like, he had had his own car for about a week, and can you just imagine how stressful that is as a parent? Because, like, okay, where is he? Is he being safe? All these things. Well, anyways, I am like freaking out because he's not coming home. Like, usually he's home by this time. And it doesn't, he didn't like break curfew or anything like that. But like, I don't know. I just, something tells me, like, is something wrong? I don't know. Or is it my own anxiety? I don't know. So I set the intention and I connect to him. And I did it just like how I told you about the other exercise. You protect yourself, you set the intention that you connect, and then you just basically pay attention to how you're feeling, any shifts. And when I set the intention to connect to him, I felt like really kind of like sick to my stomach. I didn't feel right in my head. I just feel like something was off. It didn't feel like my son's energy. It felt like something was going on. And so I was like, okay, but I did tune in and I asked, I was like, is he okay? And I got a yes. So I'm like, oh, okay then. He came home that night and I was like, dude, WTF, what was going on? He's like, what do you mean? I was like, I connected to you. I felt this, I felt that. Were you drinking? Were you on drugs? Like, what was going on? Like, you were not right in the head. You were not in the right headspace. I could feel your energy. And he was like, Mom, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. And I am like, I kept on pushing the issue because I'm like, no, I was like, I kept on pushing the issue. And finally I was like, okay, fine, then I guess that spirit's lying to me. I guess that I just suck at my psychic connection now. And then here's the thing too, is like remember, I didn't wake up until like he was probably 11 or 12 years old. So it's not like he grew up with me this way. And so it was a couple weeks later that he finally confessed to me that he was in his new car and he was being stupid in some kind of field or abandoned parking lot or whatever like that. And he was doing some donuts and he accidentally wound up in a ditch. And then he, messed up the front part of his car and he was trying to, he was freaking out. And I'm like, oh my God. Oh my God. And so the reason why I'm telling you this though is because you can connect to your kids, you can connect to your spouse, to your partner, all throughout wherever you are, just to make sure that, hey, they're okay. So if your spouse isn't answering your phone call, if your child isn't answering their phone call, if like you think your sister is mad at you, whatever it is, then you can go ahead and connect and then see what happens. So this is going to be a little bit of a different exercise because this one I want you to practice to tune into somebody that is distant, that you cannot see. All right. So you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to put yourself in a bubble. You're going to set the intention to connect to that person. And then you're going to pay attention to any kind of shifts that you might feel. But this person, I want them to be someone that you can't see. Like, they are far away. Maybe they're even in another country. It does not matter. Just think of it this way. It's kind of like anytime that you set the intention to connect to somebody, it's almost like you ask spirit to take a plug and you just plug it right into your head. And that's how you get the information. Okay, so let's move on to number 7, which is increased confidence. Oh my God, increased confidence is like the biggest thing. You know how many people think that I'm confident AF? And I'm like, well, maybe now I am, but I was not. I was not confident until spirituality got a hold of me. And it's so funny too, because spirituality is all about bringing back your power. It's all about bringing it back, being yourself, going ahead and owning who you are. And that brings up so much confidence because majority of our life, we are taught to trust in other people, that other people know better than us. And something that is like coming up to me was like, I used to always go to church and I was in Bible study and they had this song called Obedience. Obedience. Obedience is the very best way to show that you believe. And I just loved that song so much and I was obedient. And guess what happened? While I was being obedient, I was losing parts of myself. I was losing my intuition. I was losing my self confidence. And that is one of the reasons why I believe that I went through a lot of that trauma, was because I believe that spirit was trying to get me to own my own power, but I was still giving it away because of the way that I was conditioned and taught, growing up. And so when you go ahead and you open up to your psychic senses, you start bringing back like pieces of yourself that you have lost. And people say, and it is true, your spiritual journey is a journey to finding yourself. Isn't that crazy? It's like, because you are a speck of the divine and you're the speck of God, source, spirit. And that's what you were doing. You're going down a journey of discovering what in the world source, spirit, God is. And you are technically one and the same. You're just a speck of it. And you are playing this character in this lifetime. So it's freaking amazing. So, with the increased confidence, you are going to change your life because you are going to have confidence to go for that job, to ask for more money. You know what I ended up doing? I ended up going after my husband, and we created our little empire together. We started together living in a little old basement, where thank God that he was short enough because the freaking ceilings weren't even that freaking tall. And now we have a beautiful house and we go on trips and we're just living the life that we built together. And I love that because, and I don't know why, but confidence is what truly helped me. And actually, I do know why, because I had the confidence to apply for jobs that I didn't think I was qualified enough for. I had the confidence in myself to go ahead and to go back to school and to make the decisions with my schooling and with my money and my limited finances that I had in order to, change my life. And then look at now, with my bodybuilding journey too, that took a lot of confidence as well. I had to like really believe in myself, but I made one of my dreams come true. And the same thing with writing my books, illustrating my first book. So you will start to develop more and more and more confidence. Now, how do you do this? The number one way in order to get confident AF, especially through psychic connection, is going to be playing those intuition games every single day. I say it all the time, but I'm going to say it a zillion more times because that is the best way to open up to your intuition, your psychic senses, is to play it all throughout your day. I can't even tell you how often I freaking do this. I play intuition games when I'm watching Jeopardy to guess where the daily doubles are. I guess like who's going to win, the next person who's going to get kicked off of a reality TV show. I go ahead and I tune in like if my son's going to call me, if he's going to Snapchat me, what time is he going to Snapchat me? Is my Amazon packages going to arrive today? You know, um everything. Everything. You can just think of it, like what color shirt is so and so going to wear. When I first started off in my spiritual journey, my friend Randy was my best friend, and he was here in Michigan and I was in Virginia, and he would send me pictures and I would do picture readings, and that really helped increase my confidence inside of my spiritual ability. So maybe you should do that with one of your besties, and that you guys can exchange pictures every single day. Or Randy wasn't into this at all, so he would just send me pictures and then I would tune in and I would tell him what I would get, and it'd be a lot of fun. So try that. Try some kind of intuition thing every single day, and that's going to help you with your confidence. And kind of like I said earlier, too, is that these small little ways of opening up to your confidence and strengthening them is going to help you really trust in yourself and be confident in those big major decisions. All right. So, number 8 is going to be improved problem setting. Okay. Improved problem solving. Sorry about that. So, it is 1000% going to help you not just gather some like those creative solutions like we talked about and that kind of thing, but you're going to be a little bit more chilled out, okay? Because you're going to realize that things in life are not always urgent, they're not always an emergency. You're going to be getting that confidence that we just talked about too, to where you're not going to really emphasize so much on what other people think. You're going to be seeing the bigger picture. All right. So you're going to be seeing the bigger picture. You're going to be able to make it more confident. And you're also going to be more creative when it comes to these improved problem solving techniques. Okay. So the exercise that I want you to do, this is going to be a fun one. All right. I want you just to imagine that in your hand, there is a little pill. Now, for some reason, the color purple is coming up to me. So maybe it's a purple pill. Maybe it's a heart-shaped purple pill. Maybe it's a capsule because, maybe you can't swallow very well. So maybe it's just going to be like a beautiful, pretty purple capsule. And I want you to swallow it. Your little imaginary pill. This is your chill pill. All right. Take a chill pill. So whenever you are freaking out, you don't have the answer, you don't know what to do, or whatever. Maybe you're just really not sure. I want you to take a chill pill. Take a chill pill. This is going to be like your equivalent of sitting down for like a 1 to 2 minute meditation. I want you to really absorb this chill pill. You need to stop. You need to chill. All right. And then what's going to happen after you take that chill pill? I want you to like drink it some water, man. Drink some water, get it down. All right. Let it absorb. And you know what they say? Sometimes, you know, capsules and pills, they might take a few minutes or 20 minutes, a couple hours, but I want you to feel it. I want you to embrace it. And then I want you to come at the problem that you have from a different perspective. But you need to take that chill pill, just like kind of like how I talked about how I went ahead and was freaking out about the meeting and then trying to pick my son up from school and stuff like that. If I would have taken the chill pill, look at what would have happened. All right. None of that crap would have happened. So if you need to take a chill pill, go in the shower, take a chill pill, then talk to the person later, do it. Something else is coming up to me is sometimes we're just so quick to react. So that's a reason why the chill pill is so good to take. I know what it's like for people to come at you and be mean to you and say mean things to you and to be so freaking rude that you just want to like lash right back out at them. And if you're like me, like I have confidence now, I can. And I can make them feel really freaking bad. But take the chill pill. Take the chill pill. I recently took the chill pill over an email that I got where this person was making me feel really, really bad about something over a mistake that I made. I felt really guilty. Now, this person was definitely like being over exaggerating everything. And I'm really not that bad of a person, like all that stuff. But by the time that I was able to actually message them back, I no longer felt the anger. I no longer felt the offensiveness. I felt bad for the person who wrote that because I felt in that moment a lot of hurt. And then they actually felt like maybe I was dismissive of them and they probably felt too that they didn't matter to me. And maybe too like maybe they felt this way their whole entire life and maybe they took it out on me. And so maybe they just felt all these emotions and they did what they did, which I don't feel like was the best thing for them to do, but they took it out on me and they projected it onto me. But then I was able to respond back with more compassion and more love, if you will, and a little more of understanding as well. Like things are as it is, and we're not going to do business together, and that's totally fine. And like that's how I feel like it's supposed to be. Remember what we talked about in one of these previous ones is that if you are having challenges, it's not meant to be. So if things are not working out, it's not meant to be. And this was not working out. And the reason why I'm bringing this up to you, though, is because taking that chill pill can help you see it from a different perspective, which is really, really going to help you in your response. Taking that chill pill is going to help you to not react. All right. So number 9 is going to be heightened awareness. We've all heard those stories where the person is like jogging and they got a really bad feeling. And so they turned around. Like this one, OMG, WTF. I forgot where I even heard this from, but this one's freaking crazy. So this girl is like going out for like a jog. And it's like at a park where there's a trail where there's like a lot of people and things like that. It's like right outside of her apartment. So as she's going down the trail, she stops. And she keeps on getting this feeling that she needs to go back and get her phone. And she's like, why do I need my phone? Why do I need my phone? Well, the nagging voice wouldn't stop. So she went back and got her phone. And so she is doing her run on this trail and everything. And now remember, there's people around. It's not like she's secluded. It's not like she's out in the middle of the desert or anything like that. So she runs. And long story short, she is attacked. And long story short, she does survive. Okay. And it is because she brought her phone. And the police were able to find her. I'm getting chills right now. And so I just think that is so crazy. We've all heard those stories about how all of a suddenly like they get this instinct, this sign, they get this feeling or whatever like that. That's bad things are going to happen. And so I'm not saying that you need to like just be well aware when bad things are going to happen, but I'm saying that this could be something that your psychic senses helps you out with. Like it helps you know, like, hey, there is danger on the horizon. Just a quick disclaimer, sometimes in life, we are meant to go through experiences, including bad experiences. I don't understand it either. Apparently, we signed up for some cray cray stuff, right? So sometimes there's going to be no warnings that something is going to happen, and that is because it is part of your path. Does it suck? Yes. Do I understand it? No. No. And anybody that tells you they understand it, I just feel like they're not being practical. All right. I understand that we have soul contracts. I understand that we come down here to learn. I understand all that crap. Okay. But what I'm saying is that sometimes the things that we go through are so horrific and are so hard and that really just test everything that we have. Like, I can't even fathom some of this stuff. Did you know that Mariah Carey's mother and sister passed away on the same day this past weekend? That's freaking crazy. And that's not even some of the worst stories that I've heard, but that's just hard in itself. And so then going ahead and telling people, like, oh, yeah, like everything happens for a reason, you signed up for that. Like, that is just so, like, I don't even know how to say it. That's so mean to say, you know? So just know with bad things happen and you didn't have a sign, then that is a tall tale sign that spirit was watching over that and it was part of a life plan. All right. Even if you might not understand it right now. But that is one cool thing that you can get with this psychic intuition. So when I went on my trip to Texas, right? There was a whole bunch of challenges stopping me from getting on the plane. And even when I got on the plane, there was like hours delay and stuff like that. And my husband was freaking out because he was like, is something going to happen? But I was able to tune in and I was like, nope, nothing is going to happen. I was like, if anything, they're just stopping me from having a sucky time in Texas. They're just like warning me. And that happens all the time, like with flights and things like that. But it's like when I go out, I love to hang out by myself. I travel by myself a lot. I went to New York City by myself, California. I went to Florida by myself. I went to Maryland by myself. Like I go everywhere by myself, right? Because I love to travel. My husband's done traveling. But one thing that I tell him all the time, like he can equip me with knives and stuff like that and self-defense techniques. Cool. I am great at that. But the number one thing that I have on my side is spiritual connection. My spirit guides, my angels will let me know when something is awry. And they have. When something is weird is going on, I will get that sensation. I will get that feeling. All right. So, what I want you to do as an exercise to help you with this is I want you to tune in frequently throughout your day, like checking in with yourself, checking in with your surroundings. So I go for a walk all the time and sometimes I'll just stop and I'll like look around, I'll tune in, like, hey, is everything good? Making sure like, okay, almost like, is anybody following me? I know nobody's following me, but I will just go ahead and tune in. So you can do this while you're cooking, while you're watching TV, while you're babysitting, while you're working. Just tune in with yourself, tune in with your surroundings, and then just keep on doing that. Just by like setting the intention that that's what you're going to be doing, and spirit is like, okay, cool, this is what she's doing. They're going to start it. They're going to be like, perfect. Okay, she is strengthening up this muscle. All right, so number 10, this is a big one. It is personal growth. This is like the end all be all. This is like the perfect one for me. So your psychic senses just catapult your personal growth. And if you have been down your spiritual path and your life hasn't changed like miraculously for the better, there's some resistance within you, baby girl, right? There's some resistance that you have that we need to pluck out of you, okay? But personal growth. I've already talked about so much how I was living in a basement and now where I'm living, right? Personal growth, what I was doing for my work job, what I'm doing now. I was able to do all this because of the things that I gave you. And so when you are able to just open up your psychic senses, you're able to push yourself further and further and further because you have this trust, because you're not doing everything by your freaking self. Stop doing everything by yourself. We have spirit guides and past loved ones and angels and intergalactic guides. We have spirit animals, all these things to help us. We're not meant to be doing this stuff alone. Life is way too freaking hard to be doing this by ourselves. And I know that you might be sad because I am too, that we've lost so many people like in this lifetime. But the thing is, every single person that you have lost is now a cheerleader on the other side. Just think of life like dodgeball. They got out, but now it's your turn. It's your turn to not like get hit by so many balls, to listen to them, to catch a few, to be badass, to win the game. All right. So what I want you to do for the exercise for this is that I want you to write down like your journey. I want you to this is the only one where it's going to take a little bit of time, but I need you to like journal something out. I need you to journal with like how you've overcome things. I want you to give yourself freaking kudos. If you can't write it down, then I want you to voice clip it or at least say it out loud while you're driving. And I want you to just really see the personal growth that you've already done so far. This kind of goes back with like the theme of last week, I believe it was, where it was like we're concentrating too much on the negative, not much on the positive. We need to remember where we came from, because we need to remember that was part of our journey too. And then we won't be so hard on ourselves thinking like, oh, I'm not so far along and blah, 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 and this sucks and things like that. Just like, anything in life, a lot of the times it's not like linear, it's going to be up and down. And I want you to like write it down. I want to give yourself the kudos. And this is a psychic connection. And the reason being is because of a few things. The number one thing is that when you write it down and you move that energy, you are also like raising your vibration up. You are also allowing yourself to let go of things, which is going to increase that frequency of that vibration, which is also going to help you be a little bit more lighter, calmer. It is going to help you connect higher, which is going to be able to help you connect more spiritually because they operate at much higher frequency. But the other things too is that you are going to be moving your emotions, which is, emotions are energy emotion. So that's really good. And then you're really just going to be giving yourself, hopefully bringing yourself into a state of gratitude, which is also like the most highest vibration emotion, I believe that, and compassion. So you got that. All right. And you're able to look back and give yourself some freaking much needed kudos. And then that will also give you the strength to do whatever it is on your next step of being this amazing, amazing character being that you are right now. All right. So I hope this has inspired you. I really freaking hope it inspired you. I hope that it has motivated you and you are freaking ready to like become psychic AF. Now, if you love this, then you are just going to love the scavenger hunt. I don't know why you haven't signed up yet. You need to pause this right now, go in the link, get the free sign up for it, because like I'm telling you, you're going to freaking love it. You are. All right. Well, I love you so much. I will see you right back here on a Monday, but I also will see you on Sunday for coffee and cards. Until then, I hope that you live a spiritual AF life.